Hey guys, it's Doc, and I don't think I've ever started a video off with another video, but I'm going to do it today, and let me explain what I'm doing. We produced about a week and a half ago or 2 weeks ago the full PGF information video, which of course is one of those long, boring technical videos that breaks down the new PGF Complete, tells you about all the features, all the benefits of it, and why we developed it, that kind of stuff. But I wanted to put this video in front of that video just to give you a few updates and a few bits of information. So we didn't think it would be available till July 15th. Got a notice this morning from Anderson's that actually it is listed on Amazon and it is available. Now, you go to pgfcomplete.com and there's a link directly to it. The only reason I say that is because there's the old PGF, which is phosphorus free, and the new PGF, which is a 16:4:8 ratio. So if you go to pgfcomplete.com, click on that bag, it'll take you over to the new PGF Complete. Next, let's talk about some of the more extended results. Let me show you. I'm going to give you an update. There's still a slight dew all over the lawns, but I cut my grass. My front lawn got PGF Complete almost 2 weeks ago, and let me tell you what, it is absolutely gorgeous. Now, PGF Complete is the main base fertilizer, and of course we spray Super Juice. I had not sprayed Super Juice on this lawn. I just want to just leave with PGF Complete right now, but man, absolutely gorgeous. That's my lawn with it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to walk over to Barb's and I'm going to show you something interesting. Okay, so here's Barb's lawn. Now, we restored this entire lawn last year, and it's a really nice looking Bermuda lawn. But I want to show you something further down. Now, she has an area that was a natural area. Down over here, you'll see it looks a little bit weird or weak, and that's because there's unfortunately some common Bermuda in there, and I'm going to reseed that later this year. But I want you to look down here, and you can see it. This is day 7 of our test stripe, and it's pretty dramatic. Now, what we're doing with our test stripes is we're making sure that it gets water at least every other day. Not just the stripe, the whole area has gotten water at least every other day. We've had some real nice storms come through, but it's not just the color, and I want to emphasize that strongly. It's not just the fact that it has the iron inside of it. I want you to look at the difference in the height. This stripe right here is almost 4 inches tall. Now, I cut this on Sunday, and today is Thursday morning. That stripe is almost 4 inches tall. The other grass next to it is about 2.5 inches. And it's hard to see on camera, so that's why I'm kind of telling you. So the stripe, I don't know if you can get it on a perspective view, but the stripe is real fuzzy and tall, and then next to it is kind of weak and green. So this is really tall. Come over here and look at it. Again, this has no PGF Complete. It's kind of a light green, kind of weak. You come over here to the PGF area, and it is just thick and green. Let me show you another stress area. This area over here is our stress test area. Question is, can I put it out in the summer? Absolutely. Now, what we did in this area, this is common Bermuda. We did 3 treatments over 9 weeks to see if we could get it to burn out. You know, we had the standard, we went through a drought, we had the standard damage you might have with any lawn, but look at it now. Absolutely gorgeous. It is stunning. Now, this is common Bermuda, and I'm having to cut this every 48 hours. The next test strip we're going to talk about, this is the world's worst lawn. So you can see we restored this lawn. This lawn was all weeds and horrible. We restored it last year and got the Bermuda to come back. Looks nice. But look at the test strip. Same thing. Now, the test strip itself, same time as Barb's, was 7 days ago now. Test strip with PGF, non-test. I'm going down to the soil level. No PGF, PGF. It's just amazing the difference here. Then, being the idiot that I am, I think this is day 4. I came out here and I wrote PGF in the lawn, just to show you that. And you can see that the P is tall and fuzzy. Same thing with the G and same thing with the F. Someone says, it looks like POF. I don't know. But you can see it's just an amazing difference. So one of the points that I wanted to make about this is it's fast acting. If you give PGF water, give it a little bit of water every day, you'll start to see a green up in as little as 3 days. In a week, you're going to see this. You're going to see exactly what happens. You're going to see that real dark blue-green, and the grass is just going to start to explode. Okay, so I'm going to go through the back gate here. But one of the reasons why I'm doing this is we did a scalp. I did a summer scalp, which you don't do on Bermuda, by the way. I did a summer scalp, and I took this backyard down. And I actually had some scalping issues. I actually damaged some areas on my lawn. I mean, it was, some of the areas were taken down to 1/8 of an inch. It was horrible looking. I'll put up a quick picture of what it looked like after the scalp. And now this is right at 2 weeks after with just the PGF on it. So here we are 2 weeks later after the scalp. Friggin' amazing. Just simply amazing. So anyways, I just thought I'd give you this little update before we start the video. Again, the video that follows is the full breakdown of the PGF to help you better understand why this is such a unique SKU in the fertilizer industry. I had a phone conversation with the product development people from Anderson's, and they said, you know what? This year there have been 2 products that are completely new to the industry, never before introduced, that are completely different SKUs. And one of them is Super Juice, and the other one is PGF Complete. And I thought that was an interesting comment from the people that make some of the fertilizer for the largest golf and professional turf industry in the world. So anyways, want to watch the boring video? Hold on, it's coming up. PGF was launched early this year. Thousands of people are using PGF fertilizer, and it's amazing stuff. We've had some absolutely amazing stuff. You're going to get an explosion of green. You get that dark blue-green color on your lawn, and then you can use it on any type of lawn. Fescue, Bermuda, warm season, cool season, you can put PGF down anytime, and you can use that. Now, after our testing, we've learned we can use that all season long, spring, summer, and fall. Again, we're going to go to if you need any more questions, answers to that kind of stuff, it'll be over on the website. This is Generation 2, and Generation 2 is kind of where we wanted to be with this formula, but we have to work with the laboratories and production people over at Anderson's to especially formulate this stuff. Then it has to go through a registration product, and it has to be registered with each. So it's not like you can just come out with the fertilizer the next day. It's a long process. Lab formulation, production, registration, all that kind of stuff. So this is the next generation, and Generation 2, which is PGF Complete, will be available for sale sometime, I think, between July 4th and July 15th is what we're thinking about. And of course, it's only available on Amazon. You can go to the website below, and I have the links on the website. You go to the page below, click on the PGF, and if it's available, you'll see the link there. So let me summarize a very complicated thing as quickly as I can. PGF Complete. I wanted a 4:1:2 ratio. If you go and look at all the university studies, the extension office studies, they're all basically going to say without a soil test for a general maintenance fertilizer, you're going to want a 4:1:2 ratio. Well, if you divide out 16:4:8, what do you get? You get a 4:1:2 ratio. That's set. So that's done, a 4:1:2 ratio. That's nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium in the ratio that the majority of lawns want. If you need to fix your soil, that's a different story. Fixing your soil is a different story through a soil test or something like that. But for general year-round maintenance and overall good fertilizer, a 4:1:2 ratio is what you want. Why do so many fertilizers go to like a 30:0:0 or a 30:0:10? Well, a lot of it has to do with people wanting to ban phosphorus, which is a bad thing actually. You don't want to put excess phosphorus down, but you want phosphorus on your lawn. Your lawn needs it. Matter of fact, my soil, the only thing it was really deficient on was phosphorus this year. So you want a little bit of phosphorus inside there. Now let's talk about what else is inside of it. It has micronutrients. So besides the nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, it also has micronutrients. It has stuff like copper and zinc, magnesium, sulfur. It has a bunch of different little micronutrients. Again, all put into one mix. It has humic acid. I'm not going to get into a complex thing about humic acid. If you want to learn about humic acids, you can go to the link below, and I think what I'll do is I'll post up a humic video that you can learn about that. But basically, humic has two functions. You have fulvic acid inside of humic, and you have humic acid. Fulvic acid I like to call is sort of the Viagra for lawn, because what it does is it helps the circulation system and helps the plant actually use the nutrients better. It creates a healthier plant and root system. The humic acid inside there actually works on your soil. There's a bunch of different things, but the main thing is it's a chelator, which means it's like a magnet. So when nutrients go into your soil, the humic acid actually locks it in place in there. So it's available longer for your lawn, which means potentially you could use less fertilizer and have a healthier soil. Plus it adds carbon. There's a bunch of different stuff. If you want to learn about humic, but it's real important. Now, it's in the form of humic DG, which is really important. The Andersons has the patent on humic DG. They take this really high quality humic acid, they put it in pellet form. As soon as water touches it, it just goes and it disperses. So it has humic DG. So every time you're putting out fertilizer, you're putting out humic, which is wonderful. It has iron. The Forrest Gump explanation on iron. Basically, it forces your lawn to help it create more chlorophyll. So your lawn, boom, you see that dark green, bright green lawn? That's because it has iron. It has 3% iron already inside of it. All right, so we covered the main nutrients, the micronutrients, humic DG, iron. What else does it have inside of it? Basically, what we want to do is we want to combine everything, all the best things that you've heard about over the past couple of years. We wanted to put it in one fertilizer, and we wanted to put it into a special delivery form. That's the important part. Okay, it has several different sources of nitrogen, but one of those sources is methylene urea. Methylene urea. Slow release fertilizers are done that way so they don't burn the lawn. If you put a pound of nitrogen on your lawn, just raw nitrogen, you're probably going to fry your lawn. So that's why it's slow release. They encapsulate it. They take a ball and they usually encapsulate it in some way to make it slow release. Well, let's say a mower blade hits one of those pellets. What happens? Well, your slow release fertilizer has just become a quick release fertilizer. Or something, or you get a whole bunch of excess rain for a whole week. Well, guess what? Now you're releasing a ton of nitrogen. Methylene urea is very expensive. And what it is, it doesn't matter what size it is. So if it's a ball and that ball gets cracked in half, it's still a slow release. If you grind it down to a powder, it's still a slow release. It's because it's also part of that process is done through microbial activity. So not many people use methylene urea. Even a lot of the professionals stay away from it because it adds to the cost of it. So again, one of the forms of nitrogen is methylene urea. Again, we'll put information on the webpage. You can read more about that. Now, one of the main things that I really pushed Anderson for was particle size. I said, look, I have always been a proponent of very small particle size, and this is really important. Let's say that the screen that you're looking at is a square foot of grass. Well, if I put out normal 30-00 cheap fertilizer, I may have a dot here, dot here, dot here, dot here. And somehow those little dots are supposed to melt and feed the whole rest of that area. Well, that's one of the reasons why we came out with Super Juice. We came out with Super Juice because we understood that. Number one, granular fertilizers need rain and water to start working. So they may be out there for a week and not work. As soon as you put your granular down, spray with Super Juice. That's what we did back here in the backyard. So as soon as I put the granular down, I know it's not going to rain for 4 days. I put my Super Juice spray down and it starts working within an hour. Super Juice is very mild. You can't burn your lawn with it. It's very, very mild, but it's that little touch of nutrients. Plus, every single blade of grass gets a tiny bit of nutrient with the Super Juice. That's what I want. I understand that granular fertilizers, because of the spacing, don't necessarily feed evenly. Understand that. Even distribution of the nutrients is one of the things that I really wanted to focus on. And you can see that there are a lot of golf course professional turf industry people that understand that they have what's called green spot, where you have a big green, big green, big green, big green, and then nothing because of the fertilizer distribution. So I wanted at least 150 SGN, which is a particle size in the industry, which is very, very tiny. So when you put that out, when you take the same amount of fertilizer, and I'm going to show you this here in a minute, if you take 1 pound of fertilizer and you reduce the particle size, you actually go 5 to 10 times the number of particles that you're putting out for the same square foot. So if you take a big chunk, if you take a big rock and you break it all up into tiny pieces, you have the same weight, but now you can spread that big rock all over the whole area. Does that make sense? And I'll show you that here in a minute. Distribution pattern on fertilizers is very important for even distribution. Next, let's talk about fertilizer strength. A lot of people have in their mind that a 30-00 is better than a 15-00, and let's explain that real quick. Here's an easy way to think about it. Let's go back to the Forrest Gump explanation. The numbers on the bag are basically percentages, and I like to think of every bag as a 100-pound bag of fertilizer. So if I have a 30-00, 100-pound bag times 30%, I have 30 pounds of nitrogen in that bag. Well, that's an easy way that I can figure out how much I need to put on my lawn. If it's a 15-00 and it's a 100-pound bag, I have 15 pounds of nitrogen in that bag. So now I can go ahead and I can figure out what I need to put out. So if you have, let's use that method, a 40-pound bag of fertilizer, and let's say it's a 10-00, 10-00, 40 times 10 is 4 pounds. So that bag is 4 pounds of nitrogen inside of it. That's the way the numbers work. But what happens when you drop down the strength of a fertilizer? Well, I got to put out twice as much fertilizer. Exactly. That's exactly the point. You put out more particles per square foot, which means what? A better distribution and more even distribution. Understand, lowering that number, lowering the strength is actually a good thing because we can get more particles. Now I'm going to demonstrate that for you here in a second. So anyways, our testing with the PGF this year has been phenomenal. We've had great feedback and great results from people. It's actually amazing to me what this stuff can do. We've used it on barbs. We've used it on the world's worst Bermuda lawn. We've actually custom made some mixes to get to the PGF Complete phase and done some testing with it. Matter of fact, I'll probably walk you across the street and I'll show you some of the testing stuff and how that stuff just really just bam, blues up everything. We did a triple test. Answer a couple questions here real quick, but one of them is going to be, can I put it down in the summertime or how often? We put it down when we were over 85 degrees, and we did a patch over here, and we did a triple. So we put it down, waited 3 weeks, put it down, waited 3 weeks, and put it down, waited 3 weeks. Basically, we wanted to see is, are we going to burn it? We're in a drought condition, lots of heat. And let me tell you what, it just blew up green. Didn't have any effect on it. So because it's a quality slow release fertilizer, because it's very mild, now you're putting it down a mild rate, which is 3/4 of a pound per 1,000 square feet. So one bag will treat 5,000 square feet, and that's the rate you're putting it down, and it's a slow release fertilizer. So it's very mild. I have yet to have any burn issues. And again, we've triple treated a couple patches back here with no issues. So let's run through a couple of quick questions. Can I use it any time of the year? Absolutely. Spring, summer, and fall. We've had no issues with the heat with it. It's very mild and it's a slow release. Put it down, treat with super juice, and you're great. How often should I put it down? In the spring, I would put it down. You can put it down every 3 or 4 weeks if you want. Summertime, cut it back to about every 6 or 8 weeks, and then in the fall, you can put it down as, whenever you need to in the fall. What type of lawns can I put it on? Any type of lawn. Warm season, cool season, fescue, Bermuda, it doesn't matter. You can put the PGF Complete down. Can I put it on new seed and new sod? And the answer is absolutely. Keep it mild. You don't want to push it too hard, but a 712 is a great mild formula, maintenance formula for a new sod or new seed. Put it down, you'll have great results. Spray a little bit of super juice on top of it. So what are we doing today? Well, my front yard, my yard is super healthy with everything we've done to it. And I don't know if you can understand this, but if you don't have super thick Bermuda grass, a lot of times when you walk on it, it almost feels like a sponge. In other words, you can't feel the soil down beneath. That's how thick my lawn is. I can't even almost spread the things apart and find the soil. It's just super thick. So what I'm going to do is, I know for sure I'm going to put PGF down for the first time. This is my first maintenance fertilizer for the entire year back here, because we did a soil correction with 10-10-10, and then we've been using the super juice ever since. but I'm going to scalp this down pretty low, down to about 1/2 inch. It's going to get real ugly. It's going to get real ugly. And then I'm going to put PGF down. Now, it's not going to rain for 4 or 5 days. So what am I going to do? I'm going to spray with Super Juice too. So I'm going to scalp it down, immediately come back that night, that evening, and spray with Super Juice. And then we're just going to basically leave it, and then we'll watch the backyard results. I have not decided on my front yard. My front yard is stunning. It really is absolutely stunning. Now, we've done a soil correction out there and just Super Juice. I'm probably at the point though, because my whole yard, probably the entire growing season, all the way through from March all the way through this is mid-June, or getting closer to end of June, has had 1 pound of nitrogen total on it, about roughly. That's it. I have a healthy lawn. I've put down the humic TG. My soil is healthy. Everything is healthy. I don't need that much fertilizer. Heck, there are days I got to come out here sometimes and cut my lawn every 48 hours if I'm keeping it low, just to try and keep it within my maintenance. So it's not like I really don't need a whole bunch. So anyways, I haven't decided on the front yard yet, but the backyard, complete double scalp. I'm gonna scalp it with a reel mower. That's gonna create a bunch of clippings. So I'm gonna run over that with my John Deere. I'm gonna put out the PGF fertilizer back here. I'm gonna spray with Super Juice, and hopefully I survive. So that's it, guys. Like I said, if you have any questions on the PGF Complete, if nothing else, here's what I encourage you to do. Order 1 bag of the PGF and find an area in your yard and put down the PGF. And I'm telling you, as long as you have some irrigation or some rain coming in, within 2 to 4 weeks, you're going to step back and you're going to go, wow, that's a noticeable difference. We did some test strips that are just stunning over here. So anyways, let me just walk across the street real quick. I shot this actually yesterday, I think, and I'll walk over there and show you the phases of what we did, where we started with a horrible yard with barely any Bermuda. Then we sort of killed off all the weeds. Then what we did is we put down the PGF, and that was our triple test strip on common Bermuda. Now this is common Bermuda that's been there for 15 years, and it just exploded. It's just solid green. It's really cool to see what this stuff does. So let's start there, and then I'll go and I'll show you the granular size video, show you the different sizes of the granular and the impact of strength and size, and then we'll come back and we'll do all the scalping, the cutting real quick, and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to show you the 3 phases basically that this area has gone through. Now this is actually a seed test area we're doing over here, but I can show you. So this is what this lawn, this is what that area, last area, looked like a few months ago. It's basically very little Bermuda. It's full of weeds, just junked up. So I mean, you're talking just kind of nasty. Very little Bermuda. So what we did is, like with this area, we came in and we sprayed a real heavy weed killer, and you can see that there's very little Bermuda left in here. Let's see how little Bermuda there is. Very little. Then we put down 3 applications over 9 weeks on this area here, and look at that. It is just thick blue and green. It's just amazing. I may even go around the other side so you can see it better. But let me go in the shade and show you what this kind of looks like. Now this is common Bermuda. This isn't even hybrid sod. Let me find a spot here. But look at that. That is just amazing. And there's still dew on it too. But look at that. So that's one heck of a transformation, I'll tell you that. So anyways, this is actually a photo reflector I have. It's like a pop-up, fold-up one. And thank God it's got a black side on it. But I want you to look at, now this is slippery, so they're gonna move. But I want you to look at the particles per square foot. I mean, it really is dramatic. It really is dramatic of how many particles per square foot you get. Now, if this was regular, like regular cheap fertilizer or 10-10-10, I'm telling you, I've done this before, and you see almost nothing on this. It's scary how few particles are on this. Now, some of this area here, because these slides, is going to have pooling, because the particles sort of keep their energy and slide a little bit rather than grabbing. But look at that. That's insane. Okay, so now let me show you what it looks like when you put out a, let's call it a cheap 30. Get out of here. You almost ruined it. When you put out a cheap 30% fertilizer. So now what I want you to look at is I want you to move away, please. Don't mess up my stuff. Now, some of these particles are black, so it's kind of hard to see on this, but maybe you can see it this way. See the spacing here? So if I go out and put a 30-0-0, this particle, which is something different than this, and something different than this, that particle is supposed to treat this whole area in here. That's my biggest problem with these kind of fertilizers. The fertilizers that are high strength and large granular just don't perform well. They don't do it. So anyways, I think that makes my point of why I was so demanding that we go with this 150 SGN, it's called, which is the particle size indicator, which is a very, very small particle. It changes completely the way that this fertilizer produces, or yeah, how it performs. So like I said, my lawn is super, super healthy. Now, again, we did a soil correction with 10-10-10 because I have a healthy established lawn. We put humic down and just super juice. That's all that's been done to this lawn since the beginning of this whole year. Nothing but a soil correction and super juice. But what I finally decided is I'm going to go ahead and put down the PGF Complete. And one of the things is I'm putting it down right at the beginning of hot weather because I want to show you, because of the multi-forms of nitrogen and the quality of the nitrogen, it's a slow release that I'm not going to have burn coming into this hot season. Hey guys, so all the work is done. So let me just summarize what I did. I ended up scalping the back with the reel mower, just ran it over with my John Deere to mix up the clippings. Then I put down PGF Complete. Then I did a quick spray with super juice, and that's about it. Now I did make the decision. I went ahead and I said the heck with it. I went ahead and I put PGF Complete on the front as well too. Didn't spray with any super juice. Now one little trick I'm going to give you is, we just came off a period last week where we had like 8 inches of rain. Well, we've had sun, and I don't have rain for another 4 days. So one thing I am doing is right at night, I'm running my irrigation system very short for like 5 minutes on each station. And what that is doing is that's getting the soil and the lawn actually a little bit moist, and it stays moist all night long. and it kind of helps, especially with that methylene urea. It helps some of the microbial activity. So that's one little tip. Now, I don't have to worry because I put down about every 6 to 8 weeks, I put down a fungicide, so I don't have to worry about any kind of disease or anything. A lot of people say don't water at night, but it's just a very light coat of water, and it combines with the evening dew as well too, so it works out perfect. So it's ugly back here, but we're gonna come back and I'll do a follow-up video on this backyard and the front yard and the test areas here in a few weeks. Pretty cool. So don't forget, you can go to pgfcomplete.com, or you can go over to our website, which is howtowithdoc.com. There's a link below in the description. I'll have a bunch of different information on that page. Links to all kinds of things over there. Click subscribe, don't miss the upcoming videos, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.